Alright, let's go ahead and talk about Battlefield 2042's Season 7 new map, Haven. Alright, one of the most popular things I've heard going around is that Haven struggles with cover, that there's like no cover on the map, which I just simply cannot agree with. I feel like Haven is one of the most dense maps 2042 has ever seen. Um, Not to say it has, the right amount of cover or a perfect amount of cover, but the argument that there's no cover is just, I feel like that's a non existent argument. There's buildings and windows and ledges, and I mean, it's pretty clear there's tons of cover. So, I don't know what that's about, but yeah. Now, if you want to make the argument that there's actually too much cover, that's got a little more ground to stand on. Um, but the response I kind of have to that is Haven has something that 90% of the other 2042 maps don't have, which is destruction. And I'm not talking just normal destruction. I'm talking gameplay changing destruction. There's some pretty PowerPoint buildings on Haven that can really control and see a lot of the map. And almost all those buildings, if not all of them, are destructible. You can launch an RPG through the window of someone in these buildings. You can do the explosive launcher. You could C4 the base of it. You can pretty much remove all of the cover from these buildings. I've been playing Battlefield pretty consistently since Battlefield 3, maybe 1943 on the Xbox 360 if anybody else played that. So I've been around for a while in terms of Battlefield history. And for me, Haven plays the most like those older infantry based Battlefield games. A little bit like Bad Company, a lot like Battlefield 3. And I feel like most of the other 2042 maps have kind of forced us into a playstyle that isn't really Battlefield. So to me, Haven feels a lot more traditional and classic than something like Manifest, for example. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, I understand if you don't really want to play engineer or carry around C4 as your equipment. But for me, I don't even always play engineer. I'm actually playing Falk in the footage you're watching right now. And the way I kind of counter these window campers slash people sitting at the top of the stairs, if you've played Haven, you know what I'm talking about, sitting up there with a 12 mil auto. I use the incendiary grenades, the Molotovs, the fire. It's pretty good for clearing a room or a house. At least for one dude, maybe two if you're lucky. But it has saved my ass so many times. That's only because I'm playing Falk. If I was playing an engineer, obviously I'd be running around with an RPG, just bombing these houses. Now, I've also heard talk saying that Haven is very, very copy and paste. That it's a very lazy map. And I'm gonna be honest, yeah, it's a very lazy map. Tons of these buildings are reused from Bad Company 2, from Africa Harbor. Hell, Caspian Borders gas station is a fucking objective. Alright? It's very, very copy and paste. But does that make it bad? I personally don't think it's that bad. I think it's annoying that they did reuse the same assets. However, what makes a map good or bad to me is pretty much the layout. How, objectives are connected, what sight lines exist, what the flow of the map, there's a lot of factors that go into a good or bad map. And I don't think it's a huge deal that they reused assets, but I'm definitely not defending it. So don't misconstrue my words here. So I played a lot of Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 was my most played Battlefield game. Battlefield 1 came out, it was pretty good. I didn't put too much time into it. Battlefield 5 came out, I saw that trailer and I just never looked back at that game. I never played that game. 2042 obviously caught everybody's attention who's used to the modern shooters, so I bought in and we all know how this game launched. But the thing about 2042 that no one really talks about anymore is that the maps all feel gigantic. Everything feels like how Silk Road felt in Battlefield 4 or Golmud Railway, We're talking huge sightlines. We're seeing dudes from forever away. And it leads to weird engagements that, like I said earlier, doesn't really feel Battlefield. And yes, Redacted does exist, but we all know that Redacted is pretty much just like a Metro locker type of map. Like, that's not a normal map, right? We can all agree. Those kind of maps are great to play on, but to say that that's how all the maps should play is just no. You want about one or two of those in your game, and everything else should feel pretty normal. And I think Haven feels pretty normal. I feel like everyone discusses all of these sight lines and power position buildings, and they discuss all these things in the light that it's a negative thing, whereas maybe we could look at it like a gameplay thing. Powerful positions are something that has been important in not only Battlefield, but multiplayer gaming for forever. If we're talking Battlefield, we have maps like Siege of Shanghai, where the top of the building is a pretty good power position to hold, but to counter that, you could demolish the building at the bottom of it. Pretty cool element. But not just Battlefield, we have games like Halo, where we have power weapons, literally called power weapons. And whoever plays for those weapons have a way better chance at succeeding at the objective. Just like how in 2042, whoever owns some of these power position buildings have a way better chance of holding the objective. This isn't anything new. Am I defending 2042? Not particularly. This game is not incredible. This is not a great game, and I'm hesitant to call it a good game. I do enjoy this game, however. I love the gunplay in 2042, and I think it's got some of the best movement out of the entire franchise of games. But I'm not defending this game. I just don't fully understand where the Haven hatred comes from, I guess. I've been having a lot of fun on the map. I wish they still had the Haven 24/7 game mode. Right now, it's like a Haven and Redacted back and forth kind of thing. And I just keep loading into Redacted every single time. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a scrub who doesn't know what I'm talking about or anything of the sorts. I'm not too sure. I'd like to hear your guys' opinion in the comments. Please leave a like if you liked the video. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really make YouTube videos, but I've seen a lot of hatred for this map. And I just kind of wanted to at least give my thoughts and see what everybody else thinks. This might be the only YouTube video I ever end up posting. I'm not too sure, but if people, take a liking, I might end up posting some more. So, yeah, let me know in the comments, and I'll leave you with the end of this life here.